From Nutrien Ag Solutions, this is Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, March 28th, 2022. We'll start off with the temperatures as usual, warmer in the south and the west, cooler as you head off toward the east, and that is really going to be the theme as we head through the rest of the week with kind of shots of cooler air coming in across this region at times, feeling the warmth from the ridge off to the south and west as you get into central and southern Alberta, southwest Saskatchewan. We'll look at the satellite picture here early on Monday morning. We've got a storm system right here making its way into California. That's going to bring some heavy precipitation, portions of the Midwest, maybe some severe storms. And then we've got strong coastal flow bringing heavy precipitation to portions of British Columbia. We'll go ahead and flip it over and look at the radar. We do have some precipitation making its way through the area here early on Monday morning. Much of that confined to areas near and north of Highway 16, Edmonton, over toward eventually the Saskatoon area, seeing some light snow. This is going to continue to move off to the east and to the south, bringing some precipitation eventually into southern Manitoba as well. And then you see all of the heavier precipitation here, the onshore flow being kind of wrung out by the Rocky Mountains here right in between there. So the heavier precipitation west of the region, you can see that theme here as we look at the last 7 days of the last 7 days of precipitation. The heaviest, of course, being here across coastal portions of British Columbia, and then you head off toward the south and to the east here across portions of the Midwestern United States. Big dry hole here, not just across the prairie, southern Alberta, southern Saskatchewan, down into Montana, North and South Dakota, and then portions of Nebraska. So the northern high plains of the U.S., the Canadian prairie here really being missed by a lot of the precipitation over the last week. As we look ahead then, we've got a system that's making its way through here over the next 48 hours or so that's going to bring some precipitation again, generally to the Highway 16 corridor, getting south of there as you get into Manitoba. So here you go through the day on Monday. The snow, again, eventually making its way into the Saskatoon area by the end of the day today. As we get into tonight and then eventually tomorrow morning, we'll see that precipitation heaviest, again, near and north of Highway 16, across central and eastern Saskatchewan, getting into central, and then the far southern portions of Manitoba as well, picking up on some of that precipitation, especially as we get into Tuesday night. You can see we kind of develop a new area of low pressure here across the central plains of the United States. Heavier precipitation on the north side of that, but it's not until it pulls away from this region that we badly need it that we see that precipitation start to take shape. And then again, that is just a product of this rather, active but unfavorable storm track across the region. We'll zoom out and look at this in just a moment, but total precipitation by type through Thursday afternoon. Again, snow heaviest near and north of Highway 16. South of there, it's possible we get some spotty light totals there, but the heaviest going to be north of Highway 16. The National Blended Model, taking a look at some potential snowfall totals. Again, near and north of Highway 16, we're talking about 5 to 15 centimeters of snow. South of that, it's possible we get some spotty areas picking up a light coating, a couple centimeters here, but by and large, looking at a mostly dry next few days. This is through Wednesday afternoon here, total snowfall being forecast from the storm system moving through over the next 48 hours. And as we take it out of the next 10 days, European on the left, GFS on the right, a very similar picture. Again, chances for some precipitation here across the prairie. A lot of this, though, spotty and light in nature. Heaviest precipitation goes north of the prairie and south of the prairie. We'll zoom out and take a look at this pattern here as well. Across all of North America, you see two active storm tracks. The first of which being right here, onshore coastal flow, heavy precipitation along the Gulf of Alaska into British Columbia, and then down here across portions of the Midwest and the southern United States. Really, the jet stream has done, something like this, where we've seen strong onshore flow, doing something like that. At times, systems come up over the top of a ridge that we've had parked here, but then in general, we've seen, kind of two trajectories here. This one, and then one where systems come south of this ridge, and then they kind of sneak up here, come over the top of a ridge we've got here in the Atlantic, and then kind of take off, and we end up with heavy precipitation right here on the right side of that trough where the storm systems, race off to the north and to the east. So two areas that is occurring, and neither of which here is benefiting us across the prairie. And then, like I said, down across portions of the northern plains of the United States, it's been a very dry corridor. It's really just been missed over the last couple of weeks. And this pattern continues. It's active, but it's rather frustrating. And this is what I've been talking about over the last couple of weeks. There's potential there for little doses of precipitation. The confidence factor is low on where the heaviest precipitation is going to be. And the confidence factor is also low on this being a drought-busting precipitation event. And as I just hit play, you can see the problem here. Here's your two storm tracks, right here and right here. At times, we let systems come up over the top of that ridge, and they kind of run through the prairie doing something like that. But we've talked, in depth about how a storm track doing something like this, coming up over the top of that ridge, ends up rain shadowing this corridor right here. So, I'll take the drawings off and we'll talk about some of the systems here. And you can see, again, the high activity, but the relatively frustrating results that come from this. So here's your Monday system sneaking through with that precipitation again, generally near the Highway 16 corridor. A little bit of that, making its way south, especially as we get into tonight and Tuesday. You see some of the light snowfall possible across areas getting closer to the U.S. border. And then we're quiet on the backside of that for our Tuesday night into Wednesday. We get into Thursday. Here's another little low sneaking through, a very weak one. You see that about 1,000 millibars. Very weak compared to the two lows that we've got right here across the Great Lakes and across the Pacific. So we're sneaking through these little weak systems. So a chance for some light precipitation on Thursday, some light snowfall across the region. Sneak another one of these through here as we get into, potentially early next week. But you're really seeing, again, heavy precipitation, strong onshore flow right here. Heavy precipitation, strong storm systems down here, and in between that, it's light doses, it's frustrating doses of moisture. So as we look at the ensemble forecast here, the probability of getting more than half an inch of precipitation between now and August 12th, so this is the next 15 days. Here's your two corridors, again, right here where we're taking big storm systems through, and then right here where we've got the strong onshore flow. In between that, we're talking about getting chances for systems coming through, relatively weak systems delivering, every few days a chance for some light precipitation. So your probability of picking up more than half an inch of precipitation over the next 15 days across southern Alberta, southern Saskatchewan, we're talking about, anywhere from, single digits to, 30-40% chance across some of these areas. So a less than 50% chance we pick up half an inch of moisture here, even though we've got little systems making their way in. We're in between active areas here with a lot of upper level subsidence, a lot of rain shadow effect here. It simply put a frustrating pattern, and it looks to continue over the next 7 to 10 days. Your temperatures will be on the mild side, barring or aside from, I should say, barring is the wrong word there. We do have a couple of shots of some cooler air coming in here over the next 5 days, but by and large, most areas going to be above average here going through the next 10 days. Here's your next 10 days of high and low temperatures here for Calgary. Those highs very close to 10. You got to warm up there on Wednesday, a high of 15, but then here's that little shot of cool air that really knocks us back down to, again, 8-9 degrees for your high. Edmonton, a very similar look here. Saskatoon, here's your next 10 days. Regina, and then we'll finish with Winnipeg. I hope you have a great Monday, a wonderful week.